You'll know when people move into their homes, especially in Florida, we're limited for storage space. So what we do is we come in and help create storage space by maximizing what is currently available in their kitchens and their closets and other rooms. So a few of the things that we really pride ourselves on is communication with the customer, and our attention to detail is second to none. If you're looking to transform your kitchen, closet, or any other space in your home, give us a call or check out our website to book an appointment.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Gold Wingnut Live. I'm your host, Don Wiley, and we're here to talk about the things you guys want to talk about. I got a few things already lined up. The host for today's episode is Kitchen Wise and Closet Wise. They're sponsoring the episode, but we also have Fur and Away as a sponsor, Surf to Turf Home Inspections, Magic Stairs, a Rack Above at Country Village Power Equipment and Golf Carts, all helping to support the broadcast. I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully this is working today. I'm trying something new. It is streaming also to Facebook at the same time, or at least that's what the setup was supposed to do. I don't know if it is yet. I have really, being on the broadcast like this, it's kind of difficult for me to check Facebook, so I'm assuming it's going. If you are watching on Facebook and you want to provide input, you want to ask your questions, I would encourage you to shift over to youtube.com/goldwingnut, and then you can put your questions in the comments, or you can call the show at 352-661-6175, and we can take your comments live also. So anyway, so been a busy week, working great on YouTube. Thanks, Mushki. Hi, Arthur. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, happy Mother's Day to all you ladies. I'm a firm believer that only ladies can be mothers. So I could be old-fashioned. I know it doesn't go along with some of Hollywood's politics, but that's just me, I guess. All right. So if you saw the trailer for this, there's some new deed restrictions coming. They are going to limit rental properties or the rental of homes. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. So how do you find out what the deed restrictions are? So when do you think it'll open Edenfield or LaGrange? Okay, Angel Eyes, we'll get to your question in just a few minutes. You know what? Let's go ahead and start with that, because it's a good question. Angel Eyes 222 says, when do you think they will open up Edenfield or LaGrange? Thank you for your response. Looking at the way things are moving right now, I would say probably another 4 weeks, and they'll start doing homes in LaGrange, or excuse me, in Edenfield. They're moving along quickly in Oak Hollow, and again, I think in about 4 weeks we'll see the first homes start listing, or the first lots start listing in Edenfield. So there's that. LaGrange, I think we're still probably looking at the end of summer for LaGrange. It'll be closer to when, what's the name of that place? Eastport. It'll be closer to when Eastport starts to open up and have business. All right, so let's jump on over to the web browser, and if you want to find your deed restrictions, okay, the first thing you need to do is go to the districtgov.org webpage, and you click on Menu, and you click on Services, and you click on Resident Services. I know I'm going quick. And then Community Standards. When you go to Community Standards, you get this page, and where is it at? Deed Compliance. Public hearings. So declarations of restrictions. First you select your county, then your district, and then when you open it up, you see the various unit numbers. And if there's villa communities, they've got the names on them. So what we're going to look at today is Sumter County. We're going to look at District 15, and we're going to look at Unit 179. Now, I've already got it opened up here, but you click on your unit number, and the deed restrictions come open. This is the deed restrictions for Unit 179. This is one of 2 units that's coming up to be on sale on Monday. We'll go over here to, where's my map? There it is. I lost all my zooming that I had done. That's okay. So, Unit 179 is right here. Okay, it's a big unit, and also 289 is coming on the market. Now, 179 has some new deed restrictions. We'll take a look at those deed restrictions. When we come down here into the deed restrictions, there's a whole bunch of it. Things about the type of house, the pitch of the roof, things like that. When we go down here all the way to 2.32, we'll zoom in on this. And it talks about leases. And it says leasing of all or any portion of a home is restricted to residential uses for a minimum period of 1 month. All leases shall be written, shall specify such residential restrictions, and shall provide the developer shall have a right to terminate the lease upon default by the tenant in observing any provisions of this declaration. A copy of such lease shall be delivered to the developer upon request. Each lease shall contain the following provision. The leasee hereby acknowledges that his lease is subject to the declarations, covenants, conditions, and restrictions of the Villages of Southern Oaks, Unit 179. The leasee has read the same and agrees to be bound thereby, and that failure to comply with the same may result in certain remedies being applicable to the leasee, including, without limitation, termination of this lease without further notice, and personal liability of leasee and leaseor for damages, including reasonable attorney fees. So, and it says also in the next paragraph, it says it's got to be, if it's not in, even if it's not in the lease, it still applies. It's an interesting clause. I think it's well needed. Pardon me, got to have my coffee. Some of the villa and both patio villa and courtyard villa communities have had problems over the years with rental properties. Let's go back to the other camera. And those rental properties the problems existed were mainly short-term. You know, the Airbnb and Vrbo type leases. And having lived in a courtyard villa community for over 10 years, we saw it. It's a pain. The folks don't hurt. The folk, it's too broad brushed. Many of the folks who are doing these short-term leases, they don't care about the fact that it's a real neighborhood community. They're just there to have fun and enjoy a week's vacation and take off. They don't care what the residents think, what the neighbors think. Not all, but a great many of them have been that way. The long-term renters have never, in my experience, been a problem. I have many friends that have rented long-term, typically for the entire season, 3-4 months, what have you. So that's what it says. Let's see. We'll get some non-related questions to this, but we'll get back to those questions in just a minute. So now here's one. William Rizzo said, weekly vacation rentals is the main reason we are selling our house in the Florida Keys. I can understand that. I can understand that. Now, there are communities that are all geared towards weekly rentals. Down at, 192 and 27, they call it Four Corners, down by Disney. There's several large communities there. Every house has got a pool, and they're all designed to be rentals. You know what? That's fine. That's fine for that, because it's not where people are living around the clock. So they've put these restrictions in. The question now becomes, who's going to police them? Who is going to enforce them? The developer doesn't have the best track record for enforcing internal deed restrictions. Internal deed restrictions are those that are for things internal to the house. External deed restrictions are handled by the CDD. And the CDD does a fairly good job, the CDDs do a fairly good job of managing the external deed restriction violations. This gets into the whole topic also of anonymous complaints. I believe in the anonymous complaint system because the only thing that having somebody's name does is give you an avenue for retribution, and that doesn't lead anywhere good. So again, I don't know how they're going to enforce this. It will be interesting to see how it transpires. It's needed. It really is. These are our homes. Whether you're a seasonal resident and you're here 6 months out of the year or you're here year round, everybody appreciates their property being respected, their neighbors being respected. And unfortunately, when they become rental properties, it sometimes falls to the wayside. So there you have it. Now, this is unit 179. The other unit does not have these restrictions in the deed restrictions. It'll be interesting to see if when they come up, the next courtyard villa community or patio villa community or even veranda community, if they contain these same deed restrictions. Again, I think it's necessary. Again, I don't know how they're going to enforce it. I don't know how you're going to tell when somebody is there short-term, long-term, without having somebody chalk the tires like they do in a parking lot to see if you've been parked there too long. Let's see. Let's go to our comments now. We talked about that one. Arthur says, I heard that commercial areas south of Megason and 470 will have a new firehouse to service Newell and Lake Denham. Do you see anything like that? Yes, that's Fire Station 50, and that is going down there. I actually spoke with Chief Tweese and several of the other chiefs of the village's public safety department. We were talking about that specifically. And that is where another fire station is going to be. The exact location in that property that was, they staged in some of the clearing of it a while back. That's not known yet because it's very desirable commercial property as well. So we'll see. But yeah, we're looking at probably 6 to 9 months before they start building that. It is definitely necessary, and we're about 5 months away from Station 49 coming online. Station 49 is the one, if you go to where the temporary road is on 470 at the end of McNeil, the traffic circle there, there's a big gap in McNeil between the bridge and Central Parkway. But Central Parkway and McNeil, looking south, you'll see the new fire station being built. I had said that I thought it might be a new southern end fire, command headquarters. I was corrected by the fire department. That is not going to be their headquarters. It's just a large fire station because they expect a large commercial presence in that area. They did say, though, that there probably will be additional buildings built on that same property to provide a southern command. So I was mistaken, but I wasn't too far off. Let's see. Glad to see that. Mike B says, what does having an easement between your home and the neighbors mean, practically speaking, for adding any landscaping? So there are different kinds of easements, mainly utility. My house in Moultrie Creek has a 10-foot wide easement because there is a retention pond behind the house, and the storm drain flows underneath this easement. Doesn't impact my property. It would have an impact if I were to put a pool in, because I can't cross into that easement because of the pool. They got to have access in case they have to service it. But as far as landscaping, generally it's not a big deal. But if you're going to go into one of these easements, always go through the ARC to make sure you get approval. They may restrict it. So there you go. Weekly vacation rental. Okay, we talked about that one already. Brad T says, let's get the lease restrictions provisions for every district. We have next door that does nightly rentals. Brad, I feel for you, my friend. The nightly rentals, yeah, it just really. This is our community. This is where our homes are. It's not a hotel. Victoria says, hope you had a good week. Had a dream your house sold. Oh, Victoria, thank you. I hope it sells soon. I'm going over tomorrow morning and doing some more painting. It's been 5 months or so that it's been on the market. So I have the cleaners coming in this week to give it a once over, just to freshen it up. So keep our fingers crossed. Keep our fingers crossed. Let's see. All right. Megan says, do you know if there will be any tree-lined new neighborhoods to come in next year, like the Enclave, which is surrounded by preserves? The next couple of neighborhoods have very few trees. We're not going to see anything like that for probably, let's see, it's going to take a year. It'll be till the first of the year before they start selling in 16, and there's really nothing in the lower half of 16. So it's going to be probably 2 or 3 years before we see any more property like that. Looking at the map, 1 or 2 strategic land purchases, and the villages could have the prison completely surrounded. Now, it couldn't have it surrounded because of I was just out there too. There's a cement plant right next to the prison. That's the, oh my gosh. I was just out there this past Thursday. I got a tour of the cement plant. It's an amazing facility. What they're doing out there is just phenomenal. They have almost no waste whatsoever. But no, they're not going to surround the prison. Let's see. Middleton HOA fees are not high because they don't have an HOA. So no HOA fees. Just correcting a statement somebody made last week's show about high HOA fees in Middleton. Thank you. Thank you, Dreamcatcher. I appreciate the clarification. You're right. They don't have an HOA. They do have an amenity fee, but their amenity level is not the same as the amenity level in the age-restricted portion of the community. Let's see. There's a planned massive retail development planned right next to the new firehouse, right where 470 crosses the turnpike. Yes, that is not the villages. I wouldn't call it massive, though. I mean, it's good size. There's some apartments and some retail. But that's been on the books now for 2 years, 2.5 years that that's been out there, and they haven't made any progress whatsoever. Don't know why. It's not the Villages, it's some other company. Pretty much most of the rest of that area, though, is owned by the Villages. I think it's 550 acres that surround the wastewater treatment plant. So they do own a big chunk there. All righty. Let's see. Thank you. Our easement is also for the drain of retention ponds in back. Yeah. Any updates on the 470 bridge and road widening? Road widening is still happening. As far as the bridge, there's still, when I looked at it this past week, they had on the west side started doing some excavating on the north side of 470, but nothing dramatic at this point. So it's probably easily a year to get that going, or to have it opened up. So, wow. Let's see. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone over here. Messages are popping up everywhere. All right. So, again, I don't. It'll be interesting to see how they enforce these deed restrictions and what avenues they take. Yeah. Don Delaney says, update on Walmart versus Costco building race. So, yeah, that kind of put the screws in my video this past week, because I had to go run back out and reshoot that, because I went up to Fresh Market to pick up dinner for this evening, and it was obvious I needed to reshoot the video that was just a week old. Same thing with Walmart. So I can tell you that Walmart has started putting up roof trusses. They're just about done with the block wall. They've started putting up the roof and the steel walls on Costco. So it's definitely a race. They're two different kinds of buildings. There's going to be more finish work in Walmart than in Costco. I'm hearing August 6th for Costco opening. I haven't heard anything for when Walmart's opening. It's going to be an interesting race, though, to watch it transpire. That's on my list, my show notes list for today, talking about those two. For years, I have listened to people say, wow, we need a Costco, we need a Costco, we need a Costco. And I also heard since, 16, because 15 they started in Finney, and then in 16, people started saying, well, we need more shopping down here, we need more shopping down here. Well, they're both happening. And guess what? Now people are complaining, oh, there's going to be too much traffic. Well, what did you expect? I mean, holy mackerel. No. Yes, there's going to be traffic. I've heard people say, well, they should have put it farther south. Where are you going to put it farther south that you're not going to have traffic issues? All we do is look at Magnolia Plaza. There's traffic issues there. Magnolia Plaza is a very busy location, and I think Magnolia Plaza is by far one of the biggest successes. Where are they going to put the next big store? I don't know. There is some additional property still on the intersection of Megacent and Warm Springs, across the street, both to the, which way would that be? To the east and to the north of the Encompass rehab hospital that's going in. But yeah, so we're getting more shopping, we're getting Costco, we're getting this and that, and it's coming with traffic. And yes, the county is trying to address it, but we've got to address it the right way. I will tell you that, yeah, another thing I went to this past week was there was a State of the State presentation given by our state representative and our state senator. So it'd be John Temple, state representative for District 52, and Blaise Ingolius for Senate District 11. There's a lot of talk about cutting property taxes. And okay, I'm just curious as to where the money's going to come from, because I'll tell you, looking at Sumter County's property tax budget, well, first off, we've got one of the lowest property taxes in the state, and there's not a lot of fat in it, okay? About 80% of our budget is our sheriff's department, fire departments, and state mandated expenditures that are unfunded by the state. So it doesn't leave a whole lot left to take care of things like the library, animal control, public works, stuff like that. So roads are always tight on the budget. But anyway, they were talking about, well, we'll do $1,000 rebate to all the homeowners. Just wondering where that's coming from, because, man, that's a lot of money. And you know, if we've got a little over 100,000 properties in Sumter County, roughly 70,000 of them are homes. Assuming that they even prorate it, you're still talking probably $50 million out of a $105 million projected budget. That's huge cuts. Somebody's got to pay for it. Anyway, of course, Mr. Ingolius said, when questioned about it, he said, well, the counties have to figure that out on where the money's coming from. It's great that the state is flush with money, but the counties are not. Let's see. Let's go back. Boom, 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 boom. Any update on Costco? We talked about that. Do you know if there will be a new all-premier home neighborhood coming up in the next year? No, there's not. Looking at CDD 16 and the remainder of CDD 15, there is not one coming. If it is, it's very well hidden, but I'm looking at the number of lots and the acres, and that's a pretty good clue. When you look at the enclave, the lots were about 50% larger than the rest of the designer home lots, which is why they had $70,000 bond assessments, because it's based on acreage. So, but I don't see that in anything that's been released so far for CDD 16. I'll know better when they start the bonds for CDD 16. That's normally that's where the proof comes out real quickly for a premier home community. All right. Let's see. Jeff says, has the no drone flying issue with the villages gone away? Yes. Yes, it has, Jeff. Jeff is a former student, a fellow drone pilot. He and I have talked many times. So, we're talking about the bond. Of course, the other big topic that's been transpiring this last week has been the amenity fee. By the way, how is the volume sounding on this? I was having some less than stellar results on the sound for the last week or so, because I've been using just one microphone, and for whatever reason these microphones just don't pick up as well as I had hoped. So I've shifted back to the wireless mic. Hopefully I'm not making any ruffling noises on that. But let's go back to the amenity fee. There was a lot of debate. AAC had a big meeting this past week concerning the amenity, trying to put a cap on the amenity. Fortunately, smarter minds prevailed, and everybody says the volume is great. Thanks everybody for responding. they voted down any kind of cap or deferral rate. It's thank you, Chanel or Victoria. I appreciate the donation. Always great to get those. It helps with the costs. But anyway, back to the amenity fee. It was voted down 3-2 as far as cap. Honestly, if they had voted to move forward with that, there definitely would have probably been a class action lawsuit, because you're treating other people, everybody differently, charging them differently. If they want to cap it at a certain value, well, what happens when they come down to you, out of the north to use the South's amenities? Do you charge them? And if I go from the south and I go up to, let's say, Chula Vista to play golf, do I get a refund? I don't know. How do you justify it? You can't. That's why the provisions were all laid out, where everybody has to be treated equally, and it has to be a joint, basically a joint resolution between, it's going to be the AAC, Sumter Landing Amenities Division, and the developer who owns the amenities in CDD 14 and 15, and soon to be 16, a joint agreement. And without that, then you get people being treated differently and charged differently, and it doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Mushke says, if stupidly the property tax is eliminated, that means sales taxes, business taxes, permitting fees will skyrocket. This will result in a more negative impact on the poor citizens. I agree. I agree 100%, Mushke. The other topic was cutting sales tax. And the position was, well, why should we give people from New York and Canada and everybody else out of state a break on taxes? We need to give it to the homeowners. I agree, but again, that's not the way our system is structured, and it's crazy. Honestly, it's nothing more than political pandering. Looking to say, "Ooh, look at us! Look what we did! We eliminated your property tax." The residents of the state of Florida will pay dearly in curtailment of services if that happens. They're talking about putting it up for a vote for an amendment to the Constitution of the state of Florida. Wow! If that happens, of course, short-sighted, it will probably pass, because people say, well, I can pay less property tax. Things still got to be paid for no matter what. It still has to be paid for no matter what. Mushke's just giving us a blast here today. Let's see. Low-income citizens don't own homes, so property tax will not help them. Increased sales tax, businesses tax permit. Yeah. But he harmed businesses. Okay. Mushke, man, you're going crazy on it. Thank you. She's a great supporter. I love her dearly. So, if you want to find out more about how the amenity fees work, the bonds, the maintenance assessments, go to my YouTube page, look at the playlists that are listed there, and you'll find a playlist about fees for the villages. 5 years ago, I made the first one concerning the bond, then the maintenance assessment, and it took me another probably year to do the amenities. But there's a series of 4 videos there that you can watch, 4 or 5, that I go through and explain them all. I apologize for the way they are. I've listened to them recently, and I know I have to redo them just because I was not very good at doing this back then. Not that I'm any better now, but I'm a much better editor than I am now. All right. What time is it? Ah, all right. So we're going to hear from our sponsor for here in just a second, and I'm going to do a quick stretch.
So know when people move into their homes, especially in Florida, we're limited for storage space. So what we do is we come in and help create storage space by maximizing what is currently available in their kitchens and their closets and other rooms. So a few of the things that we really pride ourselves on is communication with the customer, and our attention to detail is second to none. If you're looking to transform your kitchen, closet, or any other space in your home, give us a call or check out our website to book an appointment.
All right, I'm back. Okay. That was Scott, the owner of Kitchen Wise, Closet Wise, the franchise here in the Villages. Again, a great guy, great product, definitely an improvement on the basic closets that are included in the Villages, and a significant improvement in the cabinetry. Muskie, you're fine. You're doing good. Okay, so Jim O says, any idea why they did not cut 470 through the Villages and widen it for commercial businesses like 466, since businesses are needed in the South? You know, the development of this area down here goes back, oh my gosh, the county road agreement I think goes back to 2018. So that's when most of the designs really started surfacing. Yeah, so why they didn't make it just straight through and widen it to 4 lanes, I don't know. But the plan is what it is at this point. Yeah, I guess, how do I explain this? You know, there is an increased capacity in 470. It used to be a 2-lane road, used to be very straight and very fast. People would go down at 70, 75 miles an hour or faster. I remember seeing it many times when I'd be out on a motorcycle and I'd just get blown away. It used to be that where Marsh Bend Trail, or back then it was called 501, met 470, that was not a fun intersection, man. You had to really romp on it when you made that left or right-hand turn off there because the traffic was moving so fast. So the capacity has increased, and it has been calmed down by the way the road is being routed. You know, it's not making some of the truckers happy. The latest change that the county is doing with dead-ending the old 470 right there at the fire station and closing that off. They're putting in a cul-de-sac so the fire trucks can turn around. So we're looking at now County Road 500, which is the road just to the north of that, and trying to figure out how we calm the traffic down on that, because now it's being used as a cut-through. Honestly, you're better off just stay on Central Parkway. It's not that big of a deal. Let's see. How often does the Villages or the builder, I guess, introduce new floor plans? You know, that's an interesting question. It seems like it goes in spurts. Since they've been building down here, they have introduced a lot of new floor plans. Sometimes it's just renaming it. Sometimes it's a complete rework. Prime example, I have an Arlington Courtyard Villa. If anybody's interested in buying it, please give me a call. The Arlington floor plan is significantly different today than it was when I purchased mine. So there's that. Some of the floor plans change. You know, the Dove used to be the Woodside, and the names change. But they are trying to introduce more floor plans. As people's taste change and people's preferences change, they are very responsive. You know, and I'll give you a prime example. It used to be in Courtyard Villas, you had an Arlington, and there was one of the smaller Courtyard Villa floor plans that had inside laundry rooms. All the rest were out in the garage. Well, if you look now down in the south of, south of the Turnpike, it started in Finney. They started changing the floor plans. Now all the courtyard villas have inside laundry rooms. That was in response to how, customer feedback. Same thing with two-car garages. If you look north of 466, with the exception of, north of 466A, with the exception of Hacienda at Mission Hills, which is the courtyard villa community right there at the intersection of 466 and Morse Boulevard, two-car garages were rare. And the only time they really existed was when somebody did an add-on to their home. Now, two-car garages with a golf cart garage on a courtyard villa is extremely common. Two-car garages in a patio villa were never available. Now, there's even two-car garage and a golf cart garage on a patio villa. So they do change. They do listen to the customers. They don't sit there with their head in the sand. They understand and they know their market very, very well. I did it's been about a year and a half. I did a video about how things changed. And I showed how the changes went from the far north end going all the way south and how the different things change. Another prime example is kissing lanais. In my community there in the village of Hillsborough, if you had an inside lot, you had a kissing lanai. That's 20 feet between your lanai and your neighbor's lanai. Now they're putting in walls between them. That's very common. So the changes come frequently. All right. Let's see. KG says, "Hi Don, purchased your photo video package. How long after construction start date do you begin posting the videos and pictures?" Well, KG, we start basically we either shoot Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. We try and shoot 3 times a week. When you first take out your contract for my services, we'll go out either that Monday or Tuesday or whatever the next day is, and we'll get the first set of pictures, and those get uploaded to SugarSync. And then after that, until they start staking and stringing the lot, okay, so they'll clear it and then they'll start driving stakes. The surveyors will come out and they'll put strings out so they know where to lay out the foundation and that. At that point, then we start doing every other day. But between the first video shoot, and that point, you'll get 1 or 2 pictures about once a week until things start, happening. Then after that, it's, we say twice a week, we generally shoot 3 times a week. That gives us some flexibility for when things like hurricanes come through. Makes it a little difficult to get out sometimes. We don't like to take, taking a $1,000 or $2,000 camera out in the rain is not a lot of fun. Same thing with putting a $3,000 drone in the air in the rain. We don't do it. So it gives us a little bit of latitude. So I do have a Mother's Day special going on right now. If you buy the basic package, it's $50 off. And if you buy the deluxe package, it's $100 off. And the deluxe package, the big thing there is I create a YouTube video for you. And that YouTube video is the easiest way to share the pictures with your friends and family instead of just showing them the pictures. But either way, you still get all the pictures and videos. Let's see. We've got a few things coming in here. We talked about that. Let's see. Becky says, what they did in my state, and it helped a lot, submit a form, must be full-time resident, must prove all income and assets, submit tax returns. It's a pain, but many people got relief in Montana. Okay? Mark says, Mark, by the way, is a district supervisor for CDD 15. What should someone consider if they want to get their driveway painted or coated? Design, material, anything you recommend? Obviously, you need to get ARC approval. That's one thing. Beyond that, it's really up to you what you want. For me, I ride a motorcycle. Putting that side stand down on a gold wing, that puts 900 pounds of pressure on a little tiny spot about that big for that side stand. It'll just peel that epoxy off. I don't care how good they say it is. I've watched it peel off. So, let's see. Apparently the feed on Facebook is working. Great, that's good to know. It's something new I'm trying to get more people to watch the videos. The next step in that is getting a unified interface with all the comments so that I can get the Facebook comments along with the YouTube comments. Right now, what you see on the left is just the YouTube comments. Wow. Okay. VS says property tax in Florida have averaged 9.5% a year, increasing from 2019 to 2025. Inflation over the same period is 3.95%. Government is never best served steward of money. That is why the change is needed. Well, that's interesting. Property taxes in Sumter County have been going down for the last 5 years. We had an increase a few years back, and it created an uproar. It was necessary for road maintenance because road maintenance has to come out of the general fund. It can't come out of impact fees. And 2 of our major roads in Sumter County were in need of resurfacing. So that was the biggest chunk of that property tax increase. That is all gone, or that increase is all gone. We are down below 5% in county property tax. The limit is, 5 millage points, 0.5%. The limit that the state allows is 10 millage points for county property tax, 10 millage points for city taxes, and 10 millage points for school taxes. That's 3%, man. If you're there, man, there's a lot of money going some places. I can't speak to school taxes. I find it amazing that ours are as high as they are in Sumter County, just because we have few students for the population that we have, just because of the size of the villages. All information, the BLS and Federal Reserve. Okay, yes. Yeah, all right. Let's see. Mark says, what's your next interview with a restaurant owner that will be opening in the new restaurant, Four Rivers? I don't know. I don't have any contacts with the folks at Four Rivers. I'm looking at something else, but I'm keeping it under my hat for right now. Okay, so Muskie says, I agree with you for sure on the federal level, end federal income tax, but property tax is to pay for the services that all of us, regardless of age, right? Our East Coaster says, Dawn, our trash days are Tuesday and Fridays. If I put the wife out, will they take? That's what I thought it said. If I put the wife out, will they take her? It's Mother's Day. I'm not going to answer that one. Harry and the Natives construction is progressing. Any idea when it will open? I'm hearing July for Harry and the Natives. Jerry says, so what have you seen that's allowed to hide the utility boxes in the front yards of verandas? If plants, what kind? So I haven't seen anything. I know that for a while there was issues with the electrical service boxes. because Seacoast basically said they've got to have, I think, 8 or 10 feet of clearance around it for service, and there was a lot that had plants growing around the utility boxes. For a while there, it was a hot topic, and it's kind of died off. So as far as that goes, Jerry, my recommendation, come up with a plan, get with a landscaper, or if you can do it yourself, fine. Submit it to ARC, see what they approve. That would be my suggestion. All right. Becky says, we have a 22-year-old daughter moving back home with us in Michigan for a bit. Can I get her a resident ID for our village's house so I don't have to get her a guest pass every time we come? I will tell you from personal experience, my son David, when he moved in with us during COVID, he lost his job, like many. It took him a few months to find a job down here, but he finally did. He got a blue card instead of a green card. That's the color of the village's ID. I know many people that have blue cards. If you get those, if you are living here and a resident, but not on the deed or the title for the property. So yes, Becky, I believe you should have no problem. So yeah, you just got to prove that she lives here. It's not a problem. That's, a couple of doctor bills or a utility bill or something like that. Generally all they want. Megan says, your drone videos are helpful when considering lots and lot views. Do you think that villages would ever consider offering someone to do ground videos of lots to make it easier for out-of-town buyers? No, I don't think so. They like to be very strictly in control of the flow of information. It was interesting. I found out they have an approved list of people taking pictures of houses. Guess who wasn't on that approved list? It is what it is. So I'm trying to figure out how to get on that list. Anyway, let's see, what else did I have here? I had some questions this past week about the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church, let me bring up the map again. That'll be the easiest way to show it. I guess it helps if you can see what I'm looking at in the web browser. There we go, in the web browser. So, right here in this white lot, this is not the Villages. This is Magnolia Apartments or something like that. But right here is where the Catholic Church is going. It's not going to be golf cart accessible. They didn't buy the land from the Villages, therefore they don't get golf cart accessibility. But that's where it's going. When it's going to start being built, I don't know. Mark probably has a better clue on that. But what the heck? Oh, yeah, you got to hit the button. I thought it transitioned back to the main camera. Yeah, so that's where the new Catholic Church is going. Never a bad thing to get another church. Let's see. Love all the updates to the graphics and feeds. Well, thank you. I'm trying to make it a little more modern, a little more a little more interesting for folks. Put a background on so you don't have to look at either my bedroom in the apartment or my messy office at the house. So it's going to be a secret. Where am I broadcasting from? Yeah. Let's see. Hurricane cleanup expense, if not FEMA. Yep, that's what comes out of county property tax. It's coming out of county taxes and your CDD maintenance assessment to pay for that cleanup. And then the governments have to file for reimbursement from FEMA. which can take a year, 2 years, 3 years. They're very slow. Yeah. Yes, I know, Eb. I said it would be out this week. Like I said, I had to reshoot Costco and Walmart.
Person detected at 88 driveway.
Yeah. Okay.
Person detected at the 88 driveway.
Okay. Thank you, Alexa. Anyway, so I had to reshoot that. There was some other footage I reshot just because I wasn't happy with it. Two, it was already out of date. So, but again, I'm working on it. Today's show will end promptly at 4 o'clock because I have some Chateaubriand steaks to put on the grill. But because it's Mother's Day, even being here today was contentious. I will put it at that. All right, so let's see. OJ, innocent or guilty? The jury found him innocent. What I think, I don't know. I wasn't on the jury, but the jury found him innocent. Happy Go Lucky says, hi, Don. I live in Middleton. We don't have a monthly amenity fee either. The only fee is an annual maintenance fee added to our tax bill. Hope that helps. Okay, good. Megan says, what would you consider eyesores in the new areas? I saw a huge cell tower, someone's backyard in El Calo. Any others to be aware of when considering lots in the coming neighborhoods? You know, Megan, if you go back through all my videos, you won't hear too many comments from me about saying this is good, this is bad because of something that might be there. It's not my place to judge what some people like. For example, I had a conversation with some folks from Jersey not long ago. Would you shut up, stupid Alexa? Who came from Jersey, and they didn't care about the turnpike noise. They were content with it, and it took me back to My Cousin Vinny, where Joe Pesci's gets thrown in prison, and he can sleep well because of the prison noise. But the only other thing that, for me personally, would be the high tension lines, the big pylons that are out there. For some people, it doesn't bother them. It's not something I want to look at. I will tell you, looking out the back door of our Moultrie Creek house, I can see the Ash Grove. Sorry, I can see the Ash Grove cement plant. I can see Middleton, but those aren't issues for me. Cell towers, necessary evil, unfortunately. Let's see. Chuck wants to know, what is the large land area to the west of Eastport ball fields, like Corbin Trail going along Corbin Trail, going to be developed? Does not appear to have much in the way of pipes and such in the ground. So, Chuck, what you're talking about there is the second phase of CDD 16. They are starting at the south end, where the honeysuckle and whatever the other name of the executive course is. They're going to work that. That'll take them about a year, and then they'll move up there. So it's going to happen, but everything takes time. They do everything in stages. It's all well coordinated. But yeah, that area along Corbin Trail, it's still at least a year or so out of the way. What was this one? VS says, I didn't see the map pop up. Okay, VS, here's that map again. I'll leave it up. I'll leave the cursor on where the church is going. So you should be, got to put it on the right screen. There it is. So where the cursor is sitting in the upper left corner is where the church is going. The cell coverage in Eastport is...
Person detected at the 88 driveway.
Ay, hang on.
Person detected at 88 driveway.
You know what? That's what they make power cords for. Unplug it. Sorry. Very annoying. It's the first time that's been a problem. Let's see. Between McClure and Eden, the cell coverage in Eastport is horrible. Any new towers planned? Yes, there is a new tower planned, Eb, and it's just south of the Shallow Creek championship course. Right there on the corner of Bexley Trail. Is that Bexley? Hang on. Let me move the map down so I can see it. All right, there's Moultrie Creek. Yeah, Bexley Trail, right here, there is a cell tower going in. That's been permitted. This big white area is the Shallow Creek Championship course, and right down here there is a cell tower going in next to another golf course maintenance area, because there's another championship course going in to the south of that. Let's see. Oh boy, here we go. Let's see. Doesn't PWAC have the large debt or reserve shortage? No, they don't have. PWAC doesn't have any reserve shortage or any large debt. PWAC actually is just a committee. All the debt and what do you want to call it? Everything is owned by Sumter Landing Community Development District. There's not really a big issue with debt because it's covered by the maintenance assessment or by the amenity fees. So in fact, there was, gosh, I'm trying to remember the year. I think it was 16. Yeah, 16 is when they acquired the amenities south of between 466 and 44, and that was $352 million. So that debt is getting paid down. It's all accounted for in the expenditures. Just because it's funny. I know where you're coming with this, because when you listen to the AAC, they say, well, we don't have a whole lot of debt. No, they don't. But they do have a whole lot of old facilities that Paradise is going to cost them $20 million to replace. It's going to take out a good third of their reserves. And they've got more rec centers that are going to need significant maintenance. That's going to impact their reserves. The stuff owned by Sumter Landing Community Development District, or Sumter Landing Amenities Division, is much newer. And in my opinion, I think they're taking a more active approach at caring for it so that it does last longer. Victoria wants to know, will they build more squares after Eastport, or will it be several years? It'll be about 10 years before they start building the next one. It's about a 10-year gap between them, and it's probably, I want to say it's about 3 miles south of Middleton is where the next one's going. But that was in a video about a year ago. What are they building south of the Early Learning Center? Good question. That was originally supposed to be townhouses, but I know they're expanding the parking lot. I don't know what's going in there. I've checked with some of my connections. They don't know either. So we'll see. I'm still looking at it. Any updates on the bridge over the turnpike? No, nothing yet. Just still more work going on. Showing the church location. Thank you. You're welcome. Happy Mother's Day. Enjoy. I'm not sure if I was clear with my previous question. I was referring to the land just west of and adjacent to the Eastport ball fields. West of the Eastport ball fields is the village of LaGrange. Oh, there's a small area that I know what you're talking about. Let me see. Let me switch back to the map. That's an easy way to do it. In fact, we will go to the community map. What he's referring to is this area right here. And I'm not 100% sure what's going in there. But this is something new here. I believe that's the postal station for LaGrange. So developers got all kinds of tricks up their sleeve and things planned that we aren't privy to. So, but this area right here, yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. Where can I find the map you're showing on the screen? Drop me a let me copy that URL for that map. There we go. Command C. And B. Wow, that's interesting. Anyway, go to vayens.com. That's Bill Vaines' website. He's the one who does the maps that I'm showing. Let's go back here. But yeah, he's got some great maps. He does a great job. He's definitely into cartography. Let's see. No telling what will happen in the villages in the future because it hasn't happened yet. Time will tell as we go by day. You're right. LaGrange, isn't that a song by ZZ Top? I think it is. Yes, it is. So, and thank you, Arthur. I appreciate it. So it is after 4. So, yeah, it's time to wrap this up, folks. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We got about 160 people online right now. Thank you for joining us. Remember, life is short, power is fleeting, physical beauty lasts only for a short while. All those who live long enough will also become weak and vulnerable at some point. So let us be humble, help the sick, the weak, and the vulnerable. One day we too will exit this stage. And so let us do it with humility, dignity, honor, and the knowledge that through our actions, we have left the world a much better place. I'm Don Wiley. Thanks everyone for joining me. Have a great day. Ladies, happy Mother's Day to you. I'm going to go cook some steaks on the grill. The Chateaubriands are about 2 inches thick. I am just dying to get to them. And Debbie loves herself a good steak, so she is waiting quite anxiously for me to do this. I've been sitting here for the last hour smelling the baked potatoes cooking because we cook them with onions, and it has been driving me nuts. Thanks everybody for joining me, and we will call it a day. We'll see you next week.